At this week's Terrace Bay Council meeting, Council approved an offer on the sale of a piece of land with conditions. Council also agreed to a one-year extension for the Hydro Bay subdivision plan. A draft for a new yard maintenance bylaw was introduced, consolidating 3 existing ones. Council then discussed a generative AI use policy. They reviewed a petition with 54 signatures calling for the Tesla charging station to be closed. Finally, the department reports included landfill monitoring and tourism projects and the bowling alley updates.
Was our agenda tonight. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Be it resolved that Council will approve the agenda for the regular council meeting held June 2nd, 2025 as amended. Notice the deletion of 6A regarding the childcare delegation. Any questions? Amendments, deletions, all in favor? Carried. Any disclosures of interests? All right, number 5, adoption of minutes. Councillor Dubé moved, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held May 20th, 2025 be approved as presented. Any questions? All in favor? Here. Reports from administration. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the first one up is the sale of surplus land. Following previous surplus property sales, it was decided to list surplus township properties with our local realtor. 26 Terrace Heights was authorized to be listed with W. Christie Remax Generations Realty at the May 16, 2022 meeting, along with a group of other vacant township owned lots, and that was via bylaw 10, 2022. The asking price for I think almost all of our vacant lots except for the commercial was $15,000. Section 3 of bylaw 33, 2007 being a bylaw to establish procedures for the sale of real property states. Clerk shall be responsible for obtaining one or more appraisals prior to consideration by council of a bylaw to sell, except in such cases when appraisal is not required by the act and not in the opinion of clerk advisable in circumstances. A number of factors lead to the opinion of obtaining an appraisal was not advisable in the situation and that the asking price is appropriate. These include historical value and success with sales of vacant township owned lots, previous experience and cost of obtaining appraisal in a timely manner, advice from our realtor, and current real estate market in the Terrace Bay area. So current discussion, multiple offers were received and provided through a realtor on May 28th. The higher offer of the two was $18,000. The higher offer of $18,000 is above the council approved list price of $15,000. The stipulation to build a residential home within 5 years is also a condition. Administration is recommending that sale proceed. Financial implications, the $18,000 in revenue was not included in the 2025 budget as properties have been listed for quite some time, and it's unknown how many will sell in a given year. Options, the council accept the offer of $18,000 from WJ Marion for the surplus property, roll number 5854000023700, legally described as plan M329 lot 240 Strait Township, and municipally addressed as 26 Terrace Heights Drive, and the appropriate bylaw authorizing the sale to be brought forward. Option B is council not accept the offer for the subject property and direct administration to negotiate further. Option C is that council not accept the offer for surplus property and direct administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option A.
Any questions, comments, council? Nope. Good to hear. All right, moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that council accept the offer of $18,000 from WJ Marion for the surplus property, roll number 5854000023700, legally described as Plan M329, Lot 240, Strait Township, municipally addressed 26 Terrace Heights Drive. The appropriate bylaw authorizing the sale agreement be brought forward. Any questions finally? All in favor? Carried. Hydro Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there is a report there, or a memorandum from JLR with respect to the it's a memorandum of council of the draft plan extension subdivision of Hydro Bay. I'll just read it. The report is intended to provide a recommendation regarding the extension of the draft plan of subdivision approval for the subject lands described as Part 3 of Parcel 26553, Section TBF, part of location SV 425 and location JK 302, geographic township of Frisk, known as the Hydro Bay Cottage subdivision. The draft plan of subdivision was approved on July 21st, 2022. Condition 32 states that draft plan approval for this subdivision is for a period of 3 years. The applicant should apply for an extension at least 60 days prior to the lapsing date. As such, the lapsing date for the draft plan of subdivision is July 21st, and the request to extend the draft plan need to be submitted by May 21st, 2025. Cortec Group, on behalf of their client, the applicant James Nichols, submitted a letter to Dale Rich Associates on May 14th, requesting the draft plan the approval be extended for 1 year, July 21st, 2026. Section 51, sub 33 of the Planning Act permits approval authorities to extend the approval for draft plan of subdivision for a time period specified within the approval authority, or sort by the approval authority. The applicant has been working diligently over the past few years with their team and the township to complete the draft plan conditions. Majority of the conditions have been satisfied. It is reasonable that the remaining conditions will be satisfied within the limit extension as requested. As such, condition 32 is recommended to replace the following. The draft plan approval for the subdivision shall lapse July 21st, 2026. The applicant shall apply for any extension of these 60 days prior to the lapsing date. The application to extend this draft plan of subdivision approval is an operational matter. Under the Planning Act, it is recommended this application extension be approved. No other conditions are recommended for revision at this time.
Thank you. Okay. I'll just read through the motion and then I'll ask for questions to get clarity. So moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Whereas the township has received a request from the Cortec Group on behalf of James Nichols to extend the subdivision approval for the Hydro Bay Cottage subdivision for 1 year on lands described as part of parcel 26553, section TBF, part of location SV 455, location JK 302, geographic township of Frisk. Whereas section 51(33) of the Planning Act permits approval authorities to extend the approval for a draft plan of subdivision for a time period specifically specified by the approved authority. Whereas the township is satisfied the conditions of approval can remain as recommended in the report by J.L. Richards and Associates Limited, dated May 23rd, 2025. Now, therefore, it is resolved, the Council of Corporation of the Township of Terrace Bay amend the conditions of the draft approval for the draft plan of subdivision as the lands described above by replacing condition 32 with the following. The draft plan approval for the subdivision shall lapse July 21st, 2026. The applicant shall apply for any extension at least 60 days prior to the lapsing date. Any questions, comments on this request? No. All in favor? It is carried. Toyota audit compliance.
Mr. Chair. In early April this year, the township was selected for a desk audit under the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. The Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility conducts these desk audits on select organizations to confirm their compliance with the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as AODA, and its accessibility standards. The audit was a desktop and therefore consisted mainly of document collection and submission and answering questions, all done via email. Under current discussion, following the review, it was determined the township had a few compliance issues to deal with. Many of the issues were quick fixes, requiring posting and providing online location to our policies and procedures. Some of these were simple broken links in the aftermath of our website redesign. After numerous email exchanges, only one issue remained, which was the wording, changing or adding wording to our 2018 policy C332. The following language must be added. We communicate with people with disabilities in ways that take into account their disability. When asked, we will provide information about our organization and its services, including public safety information in accessible formats or with communication supports. A, in a timely manner, taking into account the person's accessibility needs due to disability, and B, at a cost that is no more than regular cost charged to other persons. We will consult, and the bottom line is we will consult with the person making the request, determining the suitability of an accessible format or communication support. So in order to do that, amending bylaw was required. Financial implications not at this time. Continued non-compliance can eventually lead to fines or other penalties, but due to making this change, we will be in compliance. The options are the council approve the amending of policy C332 accessibility policy and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option 2 is that council not approve the amending of that policy and direct us otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1.
Thank you. Any questions? You. Motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that council approve the amendment of policy C3-32 accessibility policy. The appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Carried. And we'll learn to speak better for the next one. It's got a lot to go through. Infrastructure Ontario borrowing bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The township has been aware, the council has been aware of the Superior North EMS's desire to consolidate its existing bases in Scarborough Terrace Bay for a number of years. Terrace Bay had previously expressed an interest in being the host of consolidated SNEMS base in April of 2023. The existing base is located on the McCausland Hospital campus and does not have pull-through bays, has limited space for expansion, and is lacking other operational living condition amenities for the paramedics. The new base will provide a modern environment with an acceptable standard of living that will aid in the improvement of morale of existing paramedics and is intended to be used as a recruitment tool for new personnel. A new ambulance station will be built on the parcel of property owned by the township of Terrace Bay. The subject land is where the old scout hall used to be and is currently vacant. The township would own the building and pay for the design and construction of the station over a 30-year period. The city of Thunder Bay, representing SNEMS, would pay Terrace Bay a basic monthly rent, which would include the principal and interest for the loan to construct the building. The city would also pay for additional monthly rent to cover operating costs of the building. Terrace Bay will also receive monthly payments from the city for a capital reserve fund to cover future repairs to the facility. So current discussion, Terrace Bay and the city of Thunder Bay entered into a letter of intent at the special council meeting on February 20th for construction of a new ambulance space in Terrace Bay. There's a resolution there, CR 51/2025. I'm not going to read that out. It's in the minutes, but the township of Terrace Bay will be financing all upfront costs of the building as it will be the owner of the building. A bylaw of council approving short and long-term debt application needs to be in place in order for the treasurer to apply for a loan with Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, or Infrastructure Ontario as otherwise known. There are no financial implications at this time. The city of Thunder Bay will be reimbursing all construction and financing costs via a long-term lease agreement. So option 1, that council approved the borrowing of funds from Infrastructure Ontario to allow for the construction of SNEMS base and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option 2 is that council not approve the borrowing of funds from Infrastructure Ontario to allow for the construction of SNEMS base and direct administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1.
Thank you. Motion from Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that council approve the borrowing of funds from Infrastructure Ontario to allow for the construction of the SNEMS base and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Any questions on this motion? No. All
just to say second step of a many-step process. There'll be other things coming forward. The long-term lease agreement, tender package will be coming back at some point too. So just it's another step in the process.
Much appreciation to administration for working with all the partners to continue this folder file forward. All in favor? It is carried. Update the draft maintenance bylaw.
So it is literally that, just an update. I'm not gonna go through the background information. The only addition here in the current discussion, so the bylaw repeals the existing bylaws 19/2005 regulate the cutting of grass on private property and 15/2005 existing yard maintenance bylaw. But now, as I mentioned the last meeting, also bylaw 29/2014 prohibit the dumping and depositing of refuse. So I did include, there's a spreadsheet there that shows how those 3 bylaws are now being rescinded and the new bylaw will cover everything covered in those 3 bylaws. So we'll be going to one place for yard maintenance and another place for building maintenance in yards and the property standards bylaw. With the repeal of 20, so I've added the sections of 29/2014 since the last meeting. Snow, ice, and slush on the highways without permission or permission from the owner. Set fine schedules had to be updated accordingly. Really, at this stage, there's some outstanding questions posed to legal counsel. That's really the reason why we don't have it on tonight for final passage. Again, gives the public an opportunity to go on the website, take a look at the draft bylaw and provide comment. Have not received any comments to date from council, individually beyond the let's talk about the table or the public at this point. Doesn't mean it won't be. The bylaw we left on the website, again, that's for comment for be brought forward for final passage. Administration will continue to correct any minor errors in formatting before it is brought back. And the revisions will be brought back to June 16th meeting or a special meeting if necessary before that.
Thank you.
No recommendations, just for information.
Any questions for John or comments on the bylaws? So this far, draft bylaw, I should say. No. Thank you. AA policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Artificial intelligence, or AI, as it's known, or A1, apparently, is changing the way services are provided to people across all sectors, including the municipal sector. Generative AI tools such as ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and Acrobat Pro, just to name a few, can potentially help municipalities use our limited resources in the most efficient and effective ways possible, providing better service to the community. But while AI is exciting and helpful, it needs to be used responsibly with the risks considered ahead of time. Important questions around privacy, security, equity, and transparency should be asked each and every single time it's used. Ensuring compliance with applicable legislation such as MFIPA, or the Municipal Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act, for example, is very crucial. The goal is to encourage innovation and confidentiality and confidently, explore these new technologies, all while remembering AI is just another tool to support human judgment and creativity, not to replace it. Administration has developed a basic but clear generative AI use policy for the township. It will help guide the township's use of new AI technologies in a smart and safe manner. Some highlights of the policies are focuses on generative AI, defined as is a technology that leverages large volumes of data with machine learning techniques to produce content based on prompts from users. So available tools for usage focus on those that are existing and mainstream and also publicly available. So Copilot is one that we already subscribe to. It's included with our Microsoft 365 subscriptions. Adobe also has one built into its system, and there's a number of Adobe subscribers. So this is really giving us guidelines on how to use those properly and safely. Usage is focused on assisting with content creation and analysis. All employees are responsible for the accuracy of any created content or output. Data input is limited to what is available publicly. No personal or health data, no sensitive information. Disclosure is required where AI has been used to create final content. Generated content must reflect corporate values. AI is not to be used for recruitment, candidate screening, selection. The implementation of the policy is important, as this is still a relatively new area for government and no doubt be subject to frequent changes. It allows the township to take advantage of these technologies now, ensuring they're used in a safe and ethical manner, even if only on a small scale. Additionally, rules at senior levels of government have yet to be finalized. As the Information and Privacy Commissioner alluded in her keynote address at 2024 AMO conference, the Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, ADA, part of Bill C-27 at the federal level, mandates and measures to identify and mitigate risks of harm and monitor compliance. This federal bill passed second reading, but unfortunately it died on the table when Parliament was probed in January, so they've got to start over. At the provincial level, the Ontario government tabled Bill 194, which seeks to regulate the use of AI through public sector entities, including municipalities. Proposes to set out through regulation requirements with respect to transparency, accountability, risk management, technical standards and oversight, as well as certain prohibited uses. There's no financial implications at this time. Just to want to reiterate before I go through the options, that last paragraph about the federal provincial legislation, it's important because the province has yet to enact any regulations tied to that bill. When they do, it could wipe out our policy. We may have to start over again. Really, the policy is to guide our usage of it now. So we'll see what the government comes up with and what regulations they do put out eventually. But we're not the only municipality to pass these. Scriber just passed one at their last meeting. There's a handful of them in Southern Ontario that have them as well too. So they're not all. It's not all limited to big major centers. Sometimes it is small communities like us that are doing it. So. The options are that council adopt the policy regarding the use of generative artificial intelligence and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. That council not adopt the policies, option 2, regarding use of generative AI and direct administration to bring back an amended version, if there's discussion. And option 3 is that council not adopt the policy and direct administration. Otherwise, administration is recommending option 1.
Thank you. Any questions regarding the policy?
Yeah, just where was this derived from if it wasn't coming from the feds or from the province? This policy,
started off with a bunch of municipalities combining it into one that fit Terrace Bay. So there's a bunch of cities. Guelph has one, London has one. I can't remember the name of the small town that I was looking at.
Okay.
Middlesex County was another one that had a lot of them had to be adapted to us because a lot of them are using AI in their everyday technology. So
yeah,
they may have AI in their vehicles and with GPS units hooked up and that kind of thing. So their policies are much broader.
Mhm.
It's not just necessarily limited to, people sitting behind a desk. So
Yeah, just disclosure will be required when AI has been used to create final content. I would assume that means like you just put your prompt in and it generates it, and you don't go over it, or you don't, or what does that mean?
So the disclosure part would be is if we used it to create something that we put on, say, Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
There's little tags that these tools generate.
Right.
We would put on there and say this was created by. So if we created a picture for Lighthouse Festival,
Right.
got AI to do it for us.
Right.
Just because we didn't have any stock footage that was appropriate.
Yeah.
There would be an AI tag at the bottom corner.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Rick or Clerk?
No.
Right, motion by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council adopt policy C-338 regarding the use of generative artificial intelligence with the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay, item G, running petition.
Mr. Chair, so just some background, Mr. Landry presented as a delegation at the May 5th regular council meeting. In the presentation, Mr. Landry described collecting signatures from around the township via petition. This is only about the petition part of his delegation. Collecting signatures from around the township via petition seeking the termination of the contract with Tesla for the charging station located on Simcoe Plaza. A scanned copy of the petition was electronically submitted to the clerk's office on May 12th. The petition is titled, "We the Citizens of Terrace Bay petition the mayor and council to cancel the contract with Tesla." It specifically states, quote, "For the good of Terrace Bay and in line with national actions against Tesla, we urge the mayor and council to end this contract now," end quote. It does contain 54 signatures of state and local residents. Address numbers are I redact them out of privacy concerns. In terms of current discussion, I did leave the street names and the names of the people themselves. So let me finish my statement there. The Municipal Act does not legally bind municipalities to accept petitions or take action in respect of them. Many municipalities have created policies around petitions and describe petitions as, quote, "a way for residents to communicate their opinions to members of council and bring attention to the matter of public interest over concern that was within the authority council," end quote. Various petition policies are reviewed by administration for background information, typically contain stipulations such as petition standards related to acceptance, standard forms to use, not standard forms to sue, procedures and rules for submission, etc. So unfortunately, the township is unaware of any such policies or standard enacted by us. Therefore, administration is seeking direction on what action, if any, to take with respect to the petition. There's no financial implication at this time. Obviously, it would be tied to if council does decide to take action eventually. The options I have listed there in seeking direction and lacking a local petition policy, administration is suggesting the following potential actions in respect to the petition. For one, council can do nothing. Two, council can simply accept the petition as information and take no further action. Three, council can accept the petition and seek a report from administration on the charging station contract. There's no recommendation now, really. Administration is seeking council's direction on how to proceed.
All right. Let's get your
To be honest, I think I'd like to do option 3. To accept a petition. I'd like to a report from council or from administration that can we even legally cancel this contract if we want to, and if we did, what kind of cost are we looking at? Because we're breaking a contract, right? So I would want to know what would happen before I would even consider doing it.
Sure.
That's me.
Yeah. You got thoughts or ideas?
That's the way I feel too. We would have administration look into it a little bit more, give us a report as to what the options are. And can we, without significant penalty.
I'm personally for option 2. Just take it. Again, when it comes up for renewal, that might be a time to look at it. I don't know if we need to look at it now, but potentially when it does come up for renewal, and I'm assuming we'd be voting on that, that might be a time to revisit it and have administration do other jobs that are on the list.
If memory serves, we just renewed that in January this year.
Correct. That would be one of the 5-year exercise terms came into play.
Yeah.
So it's for sure probably another 5
It's
years.
another 5 years, so. Yeah, hence, like I said, I mean. Sure, we could probably attempt to cancel it. I'm worried we'd end up having to pay a penalty. We're breaking a contract.
Yeah.
So I want to know.
I just want, I appreciate just where you're thinking count, regards to why you choose option 3. I think what we're deciding though is how to handle the petition, not so much the issue itself, right? If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Well, option 3 wouldn't, we
It's a
would
bit of
be,
both, but
we'd be accepting the petition. Right?
yeah,
But we're not gonna act on it. We're gonna, instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask administration, you know what, if we were to act on it, what would we do?
yeah. I'm also recalling the delegation, from Mr. Landry, and there's a few of the comments that were inaccurate in his presentation,
Yeah,
such as only Teslas can use it. Well, that's not the case
No.
anymore. Other electric vehicles have access
Yeah.
to those. So keeping those comments in mind, if we want to go with option 3, I would suggest that we ask administration to look into a little bit of that
oh, exactly.
data as well. Just who's basically what I'm saying is who are the users? His comments too in his delegation regarding the economic impact on our community. There's a lot of people that almost every time I check the mail, there is someone.
There's some charge.
So, you know, I just suggest that no one's using it. I think was inaccurate. So if we feel we need a report, we'll go with that. So any further comments? Then I'll ask someone
No.
to make the motion for an option.
Okay, I'll make a motion, supporting option 3.
Just do the move in second, I'll fill in the.
Okay.
If you want some of my handwriting, so.
It's better than mine, I'll tell you that.
Resolve that council accepts the petition as submitted by D Landry and then administration be directed to bring back a report regarding the Tesla charger contract and options available to council.
The only question I would just have for clarity, do we move to accept or to receive is there a difference?
With respect to the petition,
Yeah,
fair enough. If you want to say receive, that might make more
you're
sense.
making
Yeah.
a motion, you're okay with the word receive?
Yeah, you see, that's good. Yeah,
Does it have to be amended or just?
we're amending it right now.
Who was? I'll read the official one. So, right, moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Johnson, resolved that council receive the petition as submitted by D Landry and that administration be directed to bring a report regarding the Tesla charging contract and options available to council. Any further question or comment?
No,
All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Well, thanks for taking a minute to write that out. Number H, or letter H, water lot ground lease.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the fall of 2022, the township received communication from the Ministry of Natural Resources in respect to the water lot that the township's water intake pipe sits on, extending out to Lake Superior. At the time, two options, which describe below, were presented so that the township proceed with either a crown lease or a crown easement for that water lot. With respect to a crown easement, they're commonly granted for rights of ways for communication lines, including fiber optics, pipelines, water intakes, effluent discharge pipes, electrical transmission lines, and roads. An easement is also preferred form of occupational authority to authorize the right of flood crown land, for water power development in the occupation of land underwater, lake bed, etc. But the buffer area adjacent to in-water cage aquaculture facilities. Since an easement grants only a specific right, so easy to maintain and install pipeline, for instance, the land traversed by it may be subsequently sold, leased, or otherwise disposed of, provided the conveyance is made subject to the previously granted easement. Because an easement does not grant exclusive possession, an easement holder cannot stop others from using the easement area for purposes which are not inconsistent with the purpose of the easement. It is important to note that this form of tenure does not grant the occupant exclusive rights. A crown lease, on the other hand, is a high form of tenure, which would protect the area around our infrastructure from further development. So someone's staking a mining claim, for instance. The lease would be for the water lot, which was previously surveyed at the time of the project. The lease does not preclude anyone from navigation of the waters, but it does give the municipality the ability to prohibit someone from anchoring, as the municipality would have exclusive rights in that area. Given the exclusive rights, better protections afforded by the lease option, and that this is concerning a very important piece of township infrastructure, administration directed the MNR to proceed with the crown lease option. In terms of current discussion, crown lease number 4854 was received during the week of May 19th by administration. Fairly standard lease language. Lesser is the crown, represented by Charles III, King and Province of Ontario. The lessee is the township of Terrace Bay. Term is for 40 years, January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2062, approximately 1.882 hectares, $2,007, so the sum of which represents the total rent payable for the term of this lease, was paid in 2022. To use the premises only for the purpose of the water intake pipe, that's what the lease actually states. The lesser will end the term herein demise grant 2 renewal terms of 10 years, and with requirements net, and we're not in default at that time. So financial implications done at this time is the total rent payable fee was already previously paid. The council approved entering into the crown lease with King Charles III as represented by the province of Ontario for all of location CL 17905, designated as Part 1 on Reference Plan 55R 14065, otherwise known as the drinking water intake water lot, and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option 2 is the council not approve entering into the crown lease and directs administration otherwise. Administration, of course, is recommending option 1.
Any questions?
Nope.
Do you know lease with the King or a water intake pipe?
No.
He was just here. We just asked him on Thursday, I guess. All right, motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that council approve entering into the crown lease with King Charles III as represented by the province of Ontario for all locations CL 17905, designated as Part 1 of Reference Plan 55R-14065, otherwise known as the drinking water intake water lot, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? It is carried. Bear trappers. They're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's just a simple resolution stating we're hiring the same 3 bear trappers back that we've had for the last couple of years. We've already been in contact with them in our Nipigon. They showed no objections to us starting our trapping program again for 2025. Really not a lot has changed on the ground. We have 2 traps that we can deploy. It's done between the 3 of them, mainly by one individual, but when that individual goes off on vacation, the other 2 typically fill in. Here's hoping for a quiet barrier. The less we trap, the better. So
Exactly.
less we have to trap, the better.
Yeah, that's right. Any questions on our bear trappers?
No.
Sounds good. Moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Be it resolved that council approve the employment contracts of B. LeBlanc, B. Dennis, and T. Paulson as certified bear trappers from May 1st, 2025 to November 1st, 2025 for the township of Terrace Bay. All in favor? It's carried. Public Works. Ryan?
You.
Sending the landfill annual monitoring report here. So the township contracts out environmental and engineering services for the municipal waste disposal site to KGS. Each year, an annual monitoring report is produced to provide the township on the work that is carried out at the site, groundwater testing results, along with recommendations for any work to be carried. So summary of conclusions, the estimated volume of waste within the landfill at the end of 2024 was approximately 2,995 cubic meters. The remaining capacity for waste and daily cover is estimated at approximately 56,780 cubic meters, with a remaining life expectancy of approximately 12 years based on an updated annual landfilling rate of 4,700 cubic meters and on the 2020 topographic survey. Groundwater entering the site appears to be impacted by the township prescriber sludge storage and dewatering area, which is located up gradient of the landfill site. Monitoring well 8 is located across gradient to the landfill with lateral dispersion of the leachate plume evident by impaired groundwater quality at this location. This included elevated calcium, conductivity, alkalinity, chloride, sulfite, sodium, and barium as compared to background water quality. Groundwater sampled at monitoring wells 2, 3, 5, and 7, located immediately down gradient of the landfill and the township of Terrace Bay sludge drying beds, showed impacts likely or originating from the landfill leachate and leachate associated with the present and former storage of dried sanitary sludge in the area. As with previous years, the greatest impairment in groundwater quality was observed at monitoring well 5 and 7, which are located immediately downgrade of the landfill, with monitoring well 5 also being located in the area of former Terrace Bay sanitary sludge drying beds. So proposed work for 2025, monitor and sample groundwater 3 times per year, spring, summer, and fall, as in 2024. This should be done in order to monitor landfill leachate impacts to groundwater. As in previous years, groundwater should be analyzed for leachate indicator parameters in the spring and fall, and for comprehensive parameters in the summer. Also, complete inspections of all site monitoring wells in accordance with the Ontario Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks 2010, monitoring and reporting for waste disposal sites, groundwater, and surface water technical guidance document. Complete a detailed report summarizing and interpreting the results of the 2025 program and provide recommendations for future programs as required. 2025 operations and waste placement. Waste at the landfill should be placed only within the approved 3.2 hectare landfill footprint. Waste added to the landfill should be placed such that the final closure geometry will include side slopes of 4:1 and a top slope of 20:1. Review landfill operations such as redirecting waste materials, recycling, and compaction methodologies to extend the life of the landfill. A topographic survey of the landfill should be completed to verify the current volume and update the landfilling rate. 2025 contamination attenuation zone. The installation of 3 groundwater monitoring wells south of the landfill boundary is recommended in order to confirm the direction of groundwater flow for the proposed contaminant attenuation zone. These wells should be included in future groundwater monitoring and sampling programs for the landfill. The proposed contaminant attenuation zone should be adjusted as needed based on the groundwater data obtained from the newly installed wells. Financial implications, there are none at this time. Administration is budgeted for and is in the process of completing the recommended work. The option, there's no options as the landfill monitoring report is presented for council's information only. Any technical questions we can forward to KGS or I can try to answer here to you. And the recommendation is the council accepts the KGS annual landfill monitoring report as presented.
Thanks, Ryan. Any questions for him or can pass on? Sir?
No, was hoping for a longer number, but
Yeah, Gary.
it is what it is.
We are getting the doctor survey this summer, and we're working on a few different things. We don't know what that number is going to be, but
Right.
we're hoping for good news for sure.
That's a total of 3 wells we're bringing to.
Yeah, we're putting in 3.
We're putting in this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's already a done deal. We're just waiting on land use permit.
Okay.
Chris, any questions, sir?
No.
No, just scary. Just how sharp that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything stand out to you that out of the ordinary or?
Not at this time. Really,
You're over here.
I don't know if excited is the right word, but excited to get a topic survey and see kind of where we're at. We're again hoping for some good news. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know the answer. So the particularly the wells that came back from Scriber's drying beds, was that probably due to the increase that they've placed there due to the failure of the.
I would say no, because the failures that they've had, put the material in our drying beds, not in their
Oh, okay.
LUP.
Okay,
So they're just back to normal operation now, so now they're using their LUP.
okay,
Yeah, we've been seeing that for a while. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's right.
that's not something new. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, much appreciated. Motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council accept the KGS annual landfill monitoring progress program report as presented. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you, right? Community Development Supervisor, anyway, to see application.
Thank you.
Welcome, Luke.
So the recreation master plan identifies that the hardwood lanes and the bowling alley have reached the end of their useful life and recommends replacing the lanes and modernizing this case by 2026. So when bowling balls are thrown, they naturally wear down the lanes and create small grooves where the ball is most frequently thrown. In a facility such as Terrace with hardwood lanes, the lanes need to be sanded to remove the low spots, re-level the playing area. Terrace lanes have been sanded the maximum number of times, and further sanding would likely begin exposing nails, therefore making the surface unplayable. Most modern bowling alleys use synthetic flooring due to their significantly longer lifespan. With new lanes, the additional optional bumper gutters would be included. The bumpers prevent gutter balls, create a better experience for beginners and youth. Unlike virtually all bowling alleys you see today, the Terrace Bay Alley does not have automated scoring. Players must manually score their games. This creates a barrier to access for beginner players and makes it challenging to score when a larger number of players are playing at one time. Anyone who's ever had a birthday party in the bowling alley can certainly attest to that. Earlier this year, administration submitted a phase 1 application to NWHSC Rural Enhancement Street, which would fund 90% of project costs up to $200,000. NWHSC has determined that we are potentially eligible and provided information on a phase 2 submission, which requires a council resolution support. So administration was able to only secure a single quote for budgetary and grant submission purposes. Bowling alleys are a very niche market within Canada, and therefore there are very few companies providing modernization or new build services. To the best of our knowledge, there are only 3 Canadian companies available, all of whom have been contacted multiple times over the past 6 months. So the cost to replace all 4 lanes, approaches, pin, decks, and gutters with synthetic material, add automatic electronic scoring, and install new furniture is estimated to be $234,140. If we were to remove the furniture from the quote, cost would be approximately $209,000. This quote is inclusive of labor, travel, equipment, material, and freight, which has been estimated, but does not include any electrical upgrades that may be required. So we have connected with a local electrician who estimates that the electrical upgrades would be about $5,000. So assuming that we choose to move forward with a phase 2 submission and the application is successful, the project would cost the municipality between $22,000 and $75,000. Those values are dependent on project scope and whether contingency funds are required. Potential impacts of tariffs and inflation are unknown. And to state the obvious is we don't know if we run into any problems. Right? Those are our base costs. So to assist council with the decision and moving forward, administration has provided the following cost breakdown. So there's that table provided, which shows the high and low estimates of both with furniture and without furniture. As well as in 2025, the township budgeted for 30 birthday party rentals and approximately 150 individual users. In total, the bowling alley license sees 500 to 700 users on an annual basis, shows a regular profit of about $1,000. If the bowling alley were to have the same usership moving forward, project payback would be 21 to 74 years. It is reasonable to suggest that improved bowling alley would see an increase in usership. However, if we saw an 50% increase, the payback would be between 14 and 50 years. However, municipal recreation services are by definition a service and not a business. Therefore, return on investment should not be the only consideration for this project. Recreation services such as a bowling alley contribute to the mental and physical well-being of residences. So our financial implications, so reiterating what was listed above, NHSC will fund 90% up to $200,000, and the township would be responsible for the remaining 10% as well as any cost overruns. If council chooses to move forward with the full project, which is lanes, scoring, and furniture, so again, not pin setters, the cost of the municipality is estimated between $38,000 and nearly $75,000. Council chooses to move forward with only lanes and scoring, so not the furniture. The cost of the municipality is estimated between $22,000 and $45,500. The status of the application would not be expected until fall 2025, and therefore construction would likely not begin prior to 2026 budget being passed. So our options are option A, the council support NHFC application 75002622 for the procurement of new lane scoring and furnishings of Terrace Bowling Alley, and the council commits to costs and cost overruns for the expenditures identified. Option B, the council support NHFC application 75002622 for the procurement of new lanes and scoring of Terrace Bowling Alley, and the council commits to costs and cost overruns. Option C, the council does not support this application at this time. This project is reconsidered in 2026. Option D, the council does not support this application and directs administration otherwise. The current recommendation is option C. The council does not support NHFC application 75002622 at this time, and project is reconsidered in 2026.
Thank you, Luke. Any questions?
No, I think I actually concur with you right now. I'd feel a little better if I knew what was going on over the hill and everything, so I wouldn't mind putting it off here, looking at it next year. It's my thought.
Chris or Bert?
Still be used.
Yes, so you can still bowl. Now in Terrace Bay, we don't attract a high level of bowler as it stands. Like typically our users are youth bowling parties, which I'm sure a couple of our counselors would attest that it is a bit of a zoo in it. Like the kids are happy to run around and throw a ball. It is still functional to that purpose. Would it be a big upgrade to the facility? Certainly. However, for our primary demographic, it is still usable.
Kind of agree then. Could put it off for a year. Reassess.
Just hate to lose bird in the hand. I understand the mill. You said there's a second phase or a second. Okay, sorry, just give me a second here. This is phase one of it, right? Doesn't it come back for a second time or second?
So, good question. So the grant stream itself does not have a timeline or deadline like the NHFC one goes indefinitely,
Yeah,
essentially until they run out of money.
right.
Their process is there's a phase one where you submit a high level look at your project and the reasons why you want to do it at a high level budget. If you pass that screening, then you go to a phase two, which has more in-depth questions, more in-depth budget, and you would later go to the NHFC board for that approval. So that between stage 1 and 2 is where we're at. And NHFC won't grant permission if your council says, it doesn't say, yes, if we give you our 90%, you're committed to the remainder. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it answers my question because it almost thinks we got almost like a bird in the hand here. And by the time, let's say you do, and I'm just saying like, do this hypothetical work, and then phase two comes along. And then once we have more of like an itemized cost of everything, we could see A, where the community's at that point, and B, like, is there some further savings that we can actualize potentially? Like maybe even just doing 3 out of 4 lanes. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, is there an option to try to get it like less? I understand it only funds 90% and 90% of $200,000, we're still gonna be on the hook for $20,000, right? Regardless, I know. It's tough.
To answer one of your questions, I have recently learned bowling lanes are sold in pairs. It is,
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah, that's fun fact.
Okay.
Just for your, basically recommendation and Councilor Dubé's comment, is there a reason to not kind of put it on hold later as opposed to now? Like, is there a benefit to waiting, making that decision now versus later?
The benefit to waiting is having a clear financial picture, like to Councillor Sandler's point, what we're facing in future years. I'm not sure if that answers your question. However, we can reapply to NHC for the same stream for the same amount of money next year. Like the program is still going to exist. Options will be there. However, in that scenario, if we apply to it next year, the timelines likely means that you're not actioning it till 2027.
Not only that, is we've missed out on if we're not, how can I say this? If we like miss out this year, we don't get anything like that. We're now using this year's grant application, the same project. We're like pushing it down the line. I understand the whole like the money thing, but like we're also losing out on 90% of whatever the application is. Say hypothetically now $180,000. We're losing that in our community by not granting this, because this project will always sort of be on the burner. So, but I don't see the future, and who knows what's happening, quote, over the hill, right? So it's just a tough scenario to be in, and it's just tough.
Yeah, but yes, I okay. Then
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, tough decisions and that leave it there. All right, I'll read the motion. Any final comments, questions for the leave? Moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council does not support Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation application 75002622 at this time, and the project is reconsidered in 2026. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it. Thank you much. We welcome Special Projects Coordinator to the table tonight. Welcome, Stacey.
So my first one this morning is the membership annual report with Superior Country. So Superior Country is a regional tourism organization that promotes Northern Ontario, including our area, as a travel destination. The township pays an annual membership fee to Superior Country in support of these efforts. As a member, we receive a range of promotional benefits, which include, but is not limited to, a dedicated profile page on the Superior Country website featuring a description, map location, contact details, photos and video content, inclusion in the Superior Country travel guide, broader marketing of the region through online and print media, social media, and other outreach platforms, access to a network of regional tourism operators and organizations. Superior Country is the only regional tourism organization serving our area. We partner with them on several key initiatives, including the Lake Superior North Shore Tourism Project and the Municipal Accommodation Tax, where they serve as our eligible tourism entity. They also support efforts to attract cruise ship visits to our community. So our current discussion is that Superior Country has submitted its 2023-2024 annual report. The document outlines their initiatives, activities, and outcomes for the past year. A copy of the annual report is attached for council's review. Financial implications: this membership is budgeted yearly at a value of $1,000. There are no options for you tonight, as this report is provided to council for information only.
Thank you. Any questions for Stacey?
No questions. Good to see it boosting up and being used. So.
Right. I think you can answer the question, Stacey. From the annual report, it says they want to hire a marketing assistant. Is that Amber's position?
That is Amber's position, yes. Our intern was highly sought after, and they waited patiently for her internship to end. Otherwise, they would have tried to hire her much sooner. So it's nice to see.
It's probably needed a good mentorship in our municipality. Motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that council accept this report as information only. All in favor? Carried. Surplus goods, technology items.
So occasionally the township has surplus goods that are no longer required or obsolete, and it becomes necessary to dispose of these items as per bylaw number 18-2021, which establishes the procedures for the disposal of surplus goods for the township of Terrace Bay, which is outlined below. So our current discussion, administration as part of the information technology department has the following items listed as surplus. Any items identified for sale will be sold as is, and the township recognizes that they do not bear any responsibility for any future use of this equipment. This equipment I flagged as obsolete mostly because of these are all old systems that are running either Windows 7 or Windows 10, and Windows 10 will be obsolete in October. So for financial implications, the amount the township receives from any sale of these goods would be determined by the bidders looking to acquire them. So we have two options tonight. Option A, that council approve the items listed as surplus goods and instruct administration to dispose of these goods subject to bylaw number 18-2021. Or that council does not approve the listed items as surplus goods at this time and directs administration otherwise. Our recommendation is option A.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
In the chance that they, I mean, I guess they're just surplusing them, but if they don't get sold, we have a recycling program or a way to dispose of them.
Yes, we go through the e-waste portion, but as for sensitive data, we go through 2 wipes, and then I also give them to maintenance for them to drill holes into them.
Thank you. Great. Motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council approve the items listed as surplus goods and instruct the administration to dispose of these goods subject to bylaw number 18-2021. All in favor? Carried. And digital assets and marketing videos.
So in 2024, the Special Projects Coordinator and the Economic Development and Marketing Intern collaborated on an ongoing project to capture digital assets to support and enhance the promotion of Terrace Bay as a vibrant and welcoming community. This initiative is part of ongoing efforts to boost tourism, celebrate local amenities, and create engaging content for public outreach and marketing campaigns. The project included the filming and editing of short promotional videos highlighting key attractions, events, and features of the community. Footage was captured using a variety of methods, including the township's drone operated by the SPC, as well as traditional ground-based filming conducted by both the SPC and the EDMI. The EDMI led the post-production process, editing and finalizing the video content for public release. The resulting videos are featured on the township's official YouTube channel and have been shared across existing social media platforms. These assets are intended for long-term marketing use and to help showcase Terrace Bay's attractions, events, and unique landscapes. So our current discussion is that the videos are a sample of what were produced and uploaded as part of this initiative. So there's a huge list here that you can look and watch at your own leisure. So these videos have proven effective in engaging both residents and visitors and will continue to be a valuable part of Terrace Bay's digital marketing toolkit. They are accessible via Township's YouTube channel as well as other social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, for example. And the videos and footage will continue to be used and repurposed for future campaigns. So financial implications, there are no financial implications at this time, as it was part of the Township Terrace Bay's 2024 Economic Development and Marketing Internship. But our options before you tonight are that council receives a report for information and supports the ongoing development and use of digital marketing assets to promote Terrace Bay's community identity and tourism objectives, or that B, that council accepts this report for information and directs administration. Our recommendation tonight is option A.
Thank you. Any questions from council for Stacey on old marketing videos?
No, this is great. I like this.
Thanks for breaking down the data, Stacey. Do we have a target number of views that we'd like to see?
So through our municipal accommodation tax, they've actually set out key indicators that they're looking to reach yearly with any of our views and websites. So come next year, hopefully I will have a report that I can bring to you that will show whether we meet those or not.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate that. And do we also target the geographical reach, like where people are watching our videos?
I believe that they do. I don't think we specify break it out, but I believe that there is a way to tell that.
Yeah. Maybe just be more more curious than anything, but that also tells us where our guests and visitors are coming from.
Mhm.
It would also be fascinating to find out after they watch the video if they come here. The video, I mean, I just quickly looking at them, they're really well done. So, and if the follow-up question is, will we continue to produce more videos or just recycle these for now?
So we're recycling them for now, but we do already have plans in the work this year to get some more content and videos. So we do through our municipal accommodation tax this year. We're getting some influencers down to do some videos specifically for Reels and for our social media. So I can look forward to some more stuff down the line.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Motion by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council receive this report for information and support the ongoing development in the use of digital marketing assets to promote Terrace-based community identity and tourism objectives. All in favor? Carried. Much appreciated, Stacy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely all of my questions. Communications, Lake Superior High School in-kind donation.
Not much really there is an email there, forwarded by, Mr. Bedard, from the principal of Lake Superior High School. They are requesting, approximately 15 round tables and tablecloths, from the Booking Hall, and they'd like that donation to be kind. Luke, anything beyond that? It's pretty basic, I think.
Yeah, they'll pick up, and the boys take care of ourselves.
Yeah, we've done this before, am I correct? I'm positive we have. So, yeah.
All right, and we have a motion here by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis, resolved that council approve the donation in kind of 15 round tables and tablecloths to Lake Superior High School for the period of June 17th to June 24th for the athletic banquet and the graduation. Any final questions or comments? No. All right, all in favor? Carried. Don't see it, meeting minutes. There's information there? No. Wonderful. All right, we get into our bylaws. Motion by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council approve the bylaw to authorize the township to enter an agreement for the sale of surplus land 26 Terrace Heights Drive. Be read first, second, third time, finally passed, signed by mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this second day of June 2025. All in favor? Carried. Motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis, resolved that bylaw 18/2025, amending bylaw 7-86, policy manual, and amending the accessibility policy be read first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the second day of June 2025. All in favor? Carried. Motion by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council approve a bylaw for the borrowing of funds from Infrastructure Ontario to allow for the construction of the SNEMS base be read first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the second day of June 2025. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis, resolved that bylaw 20-2025, amending bylaw 7-86, policy manual, and establishing a policy in respect to artificial intelligence be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the second day, June 2025. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolved that council approve the bylaw to enter into agreement with King Charles III as represented by the province of Ontario for all locations CL 17905 designated as Part 1 on reference plan 55R-14065, otherwise known as the drinking water intake water lot, be read a first, second, third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed and numbered on the second day of June 2025. All in favor? Carried. Right, any other business resolutions? Question period. Just ask online if there's any questions.
Just call for questions online.
Any questions, Mr. Moore?
Yeah, with regard to the property developed on Highway.
Yeah.
With regard to the number of buildings on subdivided properties, is there any limitation on size and number of buildings that are to be able to be erected on those properties? And who do the applicants that want to put property buildings on those structures on there, who do they apply to? Do they work through the landowner or do they come directly to the municipality?
Thanks for the question. Any?
I think I can answer. I believe it's 40% lot coverage. There's no limit on a specific number of buildings. You have your primary use, and then you have your secondary or your accessory uses. Anything like that would come through the township through building process and the zoning bylaws. So when those properties are ready to be built upon, that'll all come through the clerk's office essentially. So any information you need ahead of time, we're open every day, obviously. If you were, and if anybody you know is, just send them into the office and we can answer some of those questions ahead of time. Happy to do it, and it helps the process along too. So.
And just to clarify, part of the extension would be to resolve or figure some of those details out as well. No.
We're just finalizing the actual legal agreement itself. That was the reason for the extension. They're coming up. We hope to have it done, but because they're coming up to the deadline, we had to do it. So
Yeah,
just to explain that. Second call for questions online. And third and final call for questions online. I don't believe there's any questions online, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. We have a session to go in camera, so motion by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council move the next portion of this meeting in camera at 19:40 to discuss minutes from a previous in-camera session held on May 20th, 2025. One matter concerning labor relations or employee negotiations, an HR matter in respect to disciplinary action. Number 3, one matter with respect to a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or be carried out on or by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, ABTB utility billing request. And council now recess for 5 minutes. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. In 5-minute recess.